the last of it?
Morning.
Is that the last of it?
Oh no, I got one more little.
Okay.
One more. Let's see. That'd be it.
So that family needs more to eat all the sugar, and I would not be able to, because I love it enough to get a full one, but I just love it enough to.
We'll hear argument this morning in Case 2603, Torres versus Texas Department of Public Safety. Mr. Tutt?
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the Court. The Constitution gave Congress the power to raise and support armies, and the reason for that grant was to ensure the survival of the nation. The Constitution provided Congress with the tools necessary to fulfill its preeminent national defense function, and the ability to authorize lawsuits, including suits against the states themselves, are among those vital tools. I'd like to make two additional points this morning. First, the war powers, including the Army and Navy clauses, are unique and fundamentally different from the Constitution's other grants of power. Unique textually, unique structurally, and unique historically. The states could not have read the Constitution, seen the federal structure it created, and believed they would retain sovereign authority to interfere with the federal government's preeminent national defense function. Second, USERRA's protections are crucial in light of the structure of the modern military. At the turn of the 20th century, it became apparent the United States would be required to wage war on a global scale and at a moment's notice, and that this would require an immense fighting force. Rather than create a massive peacetime standing army, the United States instead created a reserve component, trained soldiers who would keep their civilian jobs, but would be ready to respond at a moment's notice to unpredictable global threats. To convince soldiers to join that force and to ensure that soldiers in it would be willing to risk significant injury without hesitation, Congress promised these soldiers that they would not be discriminated against on the basis of their military service or service-connected injuries. USERRA and the cause of action that makes its rights real is not a tangential or peripheral exercise of the war powers, but a core exercise of the United States' power to raise and support its army to fulfill its indispensable first task, protecting the national security. I welcome the court's questions.
Counsel, what do you do about our decision in Allen, which seemed to suggest that Katz, on which you rely, was quite specific and limited to that context?
You're
We'll hear argument first this morning in Case 2807, Ludor versus Union Pacific Railroad Company. Mr. Frederick.
Thank you, Mr. Justice, and may it please the court. In 1904, this court held in Johnson versus Union Pacific that a motionless dining car was in use when a worker's hand was crushed while he was trying to couple the car with a locomotive. That case construed use under the Safety Appliance Act of 1893. In 1911,